Let me ask you something real today. Have you ever said to yourself, why do I keep doing this? I don't even want this anymore. What is wrong with me? Because if you're listening to this right now, chances are you're not watching porn because you love porn. You're watching porn because something inside of you is hurting. Something is overwhelmed, disconnected, unregulated, or completely numb. And porn has quietly become your escape hatch. Today, I'm going to expose the 5 biggest triggers that drive men back to porn over and over again. And I'm going to show you how to start dismantling each one. Not with fluff, not with cliche strategies, but with real understanding, real tools, and real direction. Because, brother, I want to let you know you're not weak. You're conditioned. And that conditioning can be reversed. Guys, welcome to the Rebuilt Man podcast. My name is Coach Frank Rich, founder and host here. And it's been our mission for the last 6 years to help men just like you, those caught up in the depths of pornography addiction, take back control, reclaim their new identity, rebuild their lives, and step into 100% freedom. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to turn those post notifications on. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, guys, if you could take a moment after today's episode and leave us a 5-star rating and written review, it would mean the absolute world to us. But here's what most men think. They think relapse starts with temptation, but it doesn't. Relapse starts long before the screen even opens. It starts with an emotional shift, a nervous system shift, a belief shift. Porn is rarely the first problem. Porn is usually the solution you've learned for discomfort. Stress, porn. Loneliness, porn. Anxiety, porn. Shame, porn. Boredom, porn. Your brain didn't choose porn because it's evil. It chose porn because it works temporarily. It regulates your emotions. It distracts you. It numbs you. It stimulates you. So today we're going to walk through the 5 most common triggers I see in men every single day inside the Rebuilt Man community. Those triggers of stress, the ones of fear, anxiety, of loneliness and isolation, of self-sabotage and feelings of unworthiness, and of boredom, ADHD, and stimulation addiction. For each one, I'm going to show you how it shows up, what exactly is happening underneath the surface, how to recognize it in real time, and what to do instead. Guys, let's dive into this. Trigger number 1 is the one of stress and emotional overload. Long days, pressure, deadlines, financial responsibilities, financial weight, feeling behind in life, mental exhaustion. And what happens? Your nervous system gets overloaded. Your brain starts looking for relief, and porn offers instant escape. The lie underneath stress is very simple. I deserve relief. I've earned this. I just need to shut my brain off. But here's the problem. When you train your brain that stress equals porn equals relief, you're teaching your nervous system to avoid regulation. Instead of learning how to process pressure like a grounded man, you're outsourcing regulation to a screen. Now, how do you identify this in the moment? You'll notice thoughts like, I'm exhausted. I can't deal with this right now. I just need to do something to take the edge off. Brother, that's not lust. That's nervous system overload. And when stress hits, you don't fight temptation. You got to learn to regulate your nervous system. You must learn to pause for 60 or 90 seconds. Slow breathing, cold water in your face, stand up and move your body. Remove yourself from the environment, step outside. Write one sentence down. What am I actually feeling right now? What you're doing here is you're teaching your brain that I can feel discomfort and stay in control. That's the identity training itself. Now, trigger number 2 is fear and anxiety. This one is more subtle. Feel of failure, the fear of confrontation, the fear of disappointing people, the fear of not being enough, social anxiety, financial anxiety, spiritual guilt. Porn becomes escape from the future. Anxiety is us living in the future. Porn collapses you into the present moment. The lie underneath anxiety is, I can't handle what's coming. This is going to be too much. I need to disappear just for a while. But every time you use porn to avoid discomfort, you're training your brain that you are not capable. And here's how it shows up. You begin to procrastinate. You avoid hard confrontations or hard conversations. You delay making big decisions. You feel tension building in your chest. That's the trigger. Now, tools to process and handle this in the moment is you must learn to name the fear literally out loud. I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of being rejected. I'm afraid of conflict. Then take one micro action towards the thing that you're avoiding. Not perfection, but progress. This is you training courage on the inside, and courage, my friend, must be trained. Now let's move on to trigger number 3, loneliness and isolation. This one will cut us deeply. A lot of men aren't addicted to porn. They're starving, though, for connection. Late nights alone, emotional distances in marriages, no real brotherhood or community. Nobody knows the real you. Porn doesn't just give you dopamine, it gives the illusion of intimacy. Your brain interprets this as connection, as being wanted, as being chosen. The lie underneath loneliness is this is better than feeling invisible. At least here I'm wanted. At least here I feel something. Porn doesn't solve loneliness, it only deepens its cuts. Now, how do you identify this? Is you feel disconnected. You crave comfort. You feel unseen. You want closeness, but don't know how to ask for it. Now, when you recognize this, how do you process and handle it in the moment instead of opening tabs? Reach out and text somebody. Voice notes your thoughts out loud. Leave your house, sit around people, go to the gym, call a brother, get connected into a community. Connection is the antidote to false intimacy. This is why community matters, not motivational quotes, not willpower, but real, deeply rooted connection and brotherhood. Now, trigger number 4 is the feelings of unworthiness that lead to self-sabotage. This is one of the most dangerous ones and is least talked about. This is when your life starts going well and you relapse anyways. Your business is improving, your marriage is improving, your discipline is improving, your physical fitness is improving. You feel the momentum building, and then suddenly you fall. Why? Because your identity hasn't caught up with your progress. You don't believe you deserve the life you're building. The lie underneath that self-sabotage is this isn't going to last. I'll always mess things up. This is too good to be true. I do not deserve these things. So you return back to the familiar shame, because shame does feel familiar, and familiarity feels safe to your nervous system. Now, how do you identify this? Is relapse happens when things are going well. You feel uncomfortable with success. You feel like you're always faking it. And that guilt you experience when you feel joy. Now, tools in the moment is you do not fight the behavior here. You must get underneath the hood and rebuild the identity. You begin reinforcing who you're becoming. I am a disciplined man. Say it out loud. I am a man of integrity. Say it out loud. I'm a man who leads himself. Say it out loud. This is where our daily 5 habits matter. This is where structure matters. This is where accountability matters, because identity must be built and trained daily. And this leads us to the 5th and final trigger: boredom, ADHD, and what is known as stimulation addiction. Modern men are overstimulated. Phones, screens, scrolling, videos, notifications, dopamine all day long. Your brain loses tolerance for normal life. Porn becomes the highest stimulation available. It's instant intensity. So when things feel slow, quiet, boring, unstructured, your brain begins to crave stimulation. The lie underneath this one is I need something. I can't just sit here. I need a hit. Now, how do you identify this? Is you're not emotional. You're restless. You're constantly scrolling. You're constantly clicking. You're constantly bouncing between apps. Now, the way to process and handle this in the moment is you train the boredom tolerance. You sit in silence. You reduce high stimulation inputs. You schedule your day. You replace constant chaos with daily disciplines. Structure protects you when motivation won't and doesn't. And I want you to listen carefully. Understanding triggers does not equal freedom. Most men already know that porn is bad. Most men already know that they want to quit. Most men already have enough information. The problem here isn't knowledge. The problem is identity, structure, and environments. You do not rise to the level of your information. You'll fall to the level of your identity. This is why willpower fails. This is why motivation begins to fade. This is why most men relapse when they're alone. because you don't need a new system. You do need a new system. You need new structure. You need a new identity, and you need new men around you. And that is exactly what the Rebuilt Man and the Reboot Your Life system was designed for. Not behavior modification, but identity reconstruction. Now, if anything I said here today in this episode hit you, it's because you saw yourself in it. You didn't feel attacked. Hopefully you felt understood. That is your signal. You don't need to overhaul your life today, but you will need to begin to build some momentum. And that's why we built the 7-day porn reset. It's not overwhelming. It's not pressure. It's not perfection, but it's structure, clarity, momentum, brotherhood, and daily action. You'll learn how to gather awareness. You'll learn how to build disciplines. You'll learn how to experience connection, and you'll start seeing shifts in your identity. Not someday, but in the next 7 days. Now, if you're ready and you want to learn more, you can visit therebuiltman.com/7-day reset or click the link down there in the show notes below. But let me leave you with this here today. Brother, you're not broken. You're not defective. You're not hopeless. You're untrained. You're never taught how to regulate your emotions. You're never taught how to process pressure. You're never taught how to build a new identity. You're never taught how to live with structure. But all of that can be trained. And that's what we do better than anybody else. I'm not here to shame you, because freedom isn't going to be found in any shame. It's going to be found in you taking ownership. And you don't need more guilt. You need a system. You need a brotherhood. You need a new identity. Brother, you don't have to fight this anymore. Visit us at therebuiltman.com/7-day reset to gain access to this today. And I look forward to seeing you on the inside.